Hi, welcome to the Oliver Fetter YouTube channel. Today I'm working on my 1995 Delica L300 and I have here a ball joint spacer and I have another one, so that's a pair for the front. And we're going to talk about lifts, suspension travel, and how to install these guys to fix your ride. So the thing about independent front suspension, and this applies to like basically every car that's independent front suspension, is when you try to lift them, aka get more ride height by jacking up your spring rate, which is always how it's done. You know, on Toyotas, it means you compress the stock spring more so it has more preload, or on Delicas, it means you turn up your torsion bars, again, more preload, and this does two things. For one, with higher spring preload, you don't have like as soft a ride. Um, you're starting out with more spring tension, period. And then that's kind of like not the worst thing, but like what is the worst thing is that independent front suspension has limited amounts of travel. So, and by travel, I mean the total amount of distance that suspension can flex up and down. So when you lift a car with independent front suspension, you're basically biasing towards one end of the travel of that suspension system. So I'll show you what I mean, but it basically means you have no droop. And when people think about suspension and how to make your car ride nice, everyone thinks about up travel, aka like you drive over a bump, how far your wheel goes up before it bottoms out. But what's arguably more important, and if you watch any kind of professional off-road racing or crawling or anything, is dropout, which is how far one side of your suspension will droop if it goes into a hole, or the rest of the car is lifted but it's low. And that's super important because it's it's half the battle. You need your suspension to go up and you also want it to go down. If it just goes up and not down, you're gonna have a harsh ride. And that's kind of the case for my Delica right now. The rear is stock, so I think normally these sit kind of nose low, tail high, just shipped from the factory, and I cranked up my torsion bars in the front to make it sit level. And the problem is now is that I have basically zero droop in the front, and it makes it kind of harsh, because there's no down travel, and I'll show you exactly what I mean in 1 second. Basically, what I'm going to show you is the inside of my wheel well, and the control arm, even though I haven't jacked up the car yet, like it's not on jack stands, it's just sitting where I parked it, the upper control arm is almost resting, or it is resting, with probably a light amount of force on the bump stop. And that means there's no droop. So my goal today isn't actually to change my ride height. Like, I'm not doing a full 2-inch lift because the back is still stock. But what I want to do is like keep it at the same height it is right now, which is level, but get my travel back by adding a ball joint spacer to bring that upper control arm up and off its bump stop. So let's take a look at what it looks like right now. Okay, so we're going in, and here's the upper control arm, right? I can't see what I'm filming. And this right here is the bump stop. So it's literally sitting on the bump stop, just parked here. Like, this isn't drooped out, this is sitting on a street. And you can see, here's our lower bump stop, apologies, which has a healthy gap, and it should. So the other thing I will do eventually is you can swap both bump stops for something lower profile, which will give you more up and down travel. But for today, I just want to reclaim some of the down travel by adding a ball joint spacer, and the spacer will go right here, right in between here, and this control arm will be able to come up, an inch. Okay, so currently, and I'm going to measure to this body line, the front is at 37 inches to the bottom of that chrome trim. the back is also at 37, so right now it's perfectly level, and I am parked on like a slight road crown here, so imagine this side will be a little higher. No, just the same, 37. And yeah, this corner's a little low. It's more like, it's a little high. It's more like 37.25. So the goal is to get back to 37 at all corners, or at least the front 2 corners. And I'm gonna do that by first putting the ball joint spacer in, and we're gonna see how much lift without changing the torsion bars we get. So we'll go from 37 to 38, 39, somewhere in that ballpark. And then I'm going to loosen the torsion bars to bring it back down to 37 across the front. So to be quantitative, I just jacked it up so that the tire is just about to leave the ground, or it's just touching the ground. And so this is actually some tire squish involved here, but I'm looking for the delta. So currently we're at right around 39, a little under 39. So that's 2 inches of droop, including the tire squish. But again, I'm going for delta here. So we're starting with 2 inches of this measurement I'm going to call droop, and we're gonna see how much we get after we put the spacer in. So again, jacking it up till the tire is just about to leave the ground. That gave us 2 more inches before the tire leaves the earth. Okay, so here we are with the tire off. Again, this is the upper ball joint. These dirty things are the 3 mounting bolts. So this slots in underneath between the control arm and the bolts and brings the control arm up higher. So I'm not necessarily suggesting this is the absolute best way to do this, but it's how I'm gonna do it, so I don't have to adjust the torsion bar before, so I can show you the ride height difference the spacer makes. I loosened the sway bar, and I loosened the top of the shock, and I got a pry bar under it so I can flex the lower suspension out of the way. But it's worth mentioning that your shock is kind of the other limiting dropout factor in terms of overall lift. Like if you went really high, you'd have to put a longer shock in because that's as much as it extends. So kind of the problem is they actually did include these fillets in the design, but they're on the wrong side. They need to be right there and right there. I just added them with the old angle machine, and now it fits up fine. So you need all the holes to line up nicely, because this is what holds your suspension together. But there you go, now it lines up, doesn't hit like it was before. And I just had to add some fillets at the corner. All right, so this particular kit I'm using is from Delica Performance, and it came with washers and lock washers, but I'm opting just to use the 10-7 bolt with a little bit of red Loctite on it. And you gotta be a little patient getting it in here. You gotta get everything lined up. Like, take your time. It's a little finicky, but I did get it all back in there without taking anything else off, and now I'm just gonna snug it up. And that's kinda it. I gotta put the sway bar back on and retighten the shock. When I set this down, we'll still be on our upper bump stop because I haven't reduced the preload on the torsion bars yet. So we've increased ride height, we haven't changed spring preload, and yada yada. So this is with it installed. The spacer is right down in there. You can't really see it. You definitely want to make sure these are tight and Loctited or lock washered. You do not want this to come off. And my brake line is still factory, and I think it looks kind of fine. If it didn't look fine, you get a little leeway to maybe bend this out, but I'm not going to touch it. I don't think it's too kinked or anything from this ball joint spacer. Alright, so this is what we're looking like now after putting the spacers in. As you can see, we're nose high, and if I had to guess, I would imagine we are basically a spacer's width. Yeah, we're an inch taller. So we went from 37 to 38 with a ball joint spacer and not changing anything else. This was 37 and a quarter. It's now 38 and a quarter. So 1 inch spacer gives you 1 inch rise if you do absolutely nothing else. So I probably am rocking like 2-ish inches in the front, but I actually don't want it like this. Obviously it's not level either, but again, we're still resting on that upper bump stop, so now I get to back off the torsion bars, and that should put us back at 37, and now we'll have a whopping 1 inch of droop. Okay, so I have now adjusted both torsion bars so that the front is sitting at about 36 and a quarter to that line. Rear still the same, 37. So let's take a look at what we got. And I ended up going down slightly because I still want even more droop, and I kind of want my suspension to be balanced. I don't care if the front sits 3/4 inch lower than the rear, and in fact, kind of looks better that way. And to be fair, I guess the other thing is my toolboxes aren't in the back right now. So once you put some load in the back, it tends to sag a bit. So I'd rather have the front sit a little low, so when you load the back, it actually sits right. So let's take a look at where our bump stops are now. So I'm under the car, and if we look in here, we can see there's about a finger worth of space of up travel between the bump stop and its rest. And on top, man, bad angle. On top, sorry, this is a wonky angle, there's about a finger or a finger and a half of travel. So, you know, maybe ideally sitting at 37 would be perfect, because, or even 36 and a half would probably be perfect, because that would give me an equal amount of up and down travel before I hit bump stops. The other thing I'd like to do is put in shorter bumps, which, to be fair, this isn't all your travel. It squishes the rubber, so you get more. But making the Delica lifted and also have a decent amount of travel is incredibly difficult. I mean, there's just not that much room in the geometry to play with before you end up bottoming out. Okay, so now if you recall from earlier, before I fiddled with the torsion bars or put spacers in, I measured what I was calling droop, which really isn't because it includes some tire squish. But so before spacers and adjustments, we got 2 inches of droop, meaning when I started to jack it up, we have 2 inches before the tire just kissed the ground. And now we're at just shy of 40, which means we have 3.5 inches of droop. So we gained an inch and a half of dropout by adding that ball joint spacer and adjusting the arms accordingly, which really means it's more like an inch, which makes sense. You add an inch spacer, you get an inch of lift, you back off your torsion bars, and you get another inch of droop. But that's what you get. And I imagine, not that it would be good to try, but you could almost put in a 2-inch ball joint spacer, which would be an atrocity and probably dangerous, but you would continue to increase the amount of travel you actually have between control arms and bump stops. I think for me personally, if I go for more travel, it's going to be by taking the bump stops out and putting in lower profile bumps, and thereby having a bit more in between. Installing ball joint spacers is easy. Just make sure you get good quality spacers and good quality bolts so they're safe. And it actually improves your travel if you're trying to lift the front of your vehicle whatsoever. It's not necessarily a huge lift. You get about as much lift as ball joint spacer that goes in, but that also gives you about that much more travel once you adjust everything out. Hope this helps. Have a good day out there.